This is an outdated paradigm. Capitalists no longer need war to make money, otherwise there will be no one to buy. There are always thousands of times fewer soldiers than civilians. That's why your industry makes jets for hundreds of millions of dollars. You spend trillions in stores and are happy, while the government has slapped a 30% tax on business and takes a cut of every B2B transaction. Calm down. Things are much worse. If you are sick of Marx, here's your national hero and his essay. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, an organism appeared on the planet. At first it was weak. Yes, it needed to accumulate money, make friends and put down roots. By the 1930s it had grown strong and no longer needed its parents. It ate them and climbed to the top of the food chain. Smedley Butler's idea lost its relevance even before it was published, and wars are no longer fought for profit. For the sake of profit, Lockheed Martin make planes for 300 millions, but war is, on the contrary, a total waste. Wars are waged because there are food and air for that organism. This is a scheme that circulated in the Russian blogosphere from 2014 to 2020. It's no longer relevant. There are no capitalists behind ordinary people. There are no people behind them at all. There is only that organism and no one else, and its name is Grave Mind. His appearance speaks not of his death, but of his desire to sow death and kill. In scientific terms, this organism is called the Western political system. I'll give you the diagram later. It is composed entirely of psychopaths and murderers. That's axiom number 2. The brain of this organism lives in the United States. It is a conglomerate of people, analysts like Kissinger and Brzezinski, heads and senior officials of the special and intelligence services, top-ranking generals, pimps like Epstein and P. Diddy, heads of military corporations. Sometimes they are public and in power, but more often they are not. This grave mind is deprived of the ability to create. It can only sow death and destruction both to the entire world and to itself. It is a literal embodiment of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, without irony or sarcasm. Now it is aiming to ignite a global nuclear war, because this grave mind is biologically programmed that way. The universe and nature have no morality. Nature gave birth to Leonardo da Vinci and Hitler, Raoul Wallenberg and Ted Bundy. The existence of psychopaths and sadists is a fact. These psychopaths and sadists always have the overwhelming majority in power. They lack empathy, shame, pity, love or compassion. They have no conscience and they never act to their own detriment. That's why they're so successful. All their social actions are manipulations of others. They are physically incapable of even crying. They even derive pleasure from pain. By killing others and causing them suffering, these psychopaths derive pleasure, perhaps even sexual pleasure. This grave mind is protected by presidents, politicians and officials, allowing them rise to power and tying them to them with monstrous compromising evidence, drugs, pedophilia and human sacrifices. That's why politicians are so obedient, because their public image is their only concern. They are the most blatant narcissists. This is a role-playing game, entertainment. This compromising evidence contains the most terrifying thing you can imagine. If you've seen True Detective, you will understand. Politicians are implementing the plans of this grave mind in exchange for power and access to unpunished pedophilia, murder and satanism. Politicians aren't hostages, they're willing accomplices. Money has absolutely nothing to do with it. The president doesn't need a salary. The state has everything. It will give a politician or official whatever they ask for, and in exchange tighten the noose around their neck even tighter. And ordinary people are happy, because everything is according to the law and the constitution, bequeathed to us by the founding fathers. Let's talk about Snowden. He was recruited by the special services for his abilities. He experienced this system, understood what it was, who ran it and why it was built, and jumped out of it at 29 years old. How can you characterize a system that lawfully conceals war crimes, total surveillance of the entire world, of people it calls its citizens, while hiding behind the rack of national symbols, for which you are ready to die and kill everyone around you just because these symbols are 300 years old? How did the power classify what Snowden did? A treat to and crime against national security. National. Is it in the interests of your nation? in your personal interest to have you spied on the entire world? You don't even know who lives 2 streets away from your house. What was Snowden accused of? Theft of state property. He stole the secrets of Gravemind, not your taxes or land. Director of National Intelligence James Clapper lied under oath in front of the Senate in 2013. He didn't even fired. He just apologized and everything was forgiven. How is this to be understood? How is it to be explained? Only by the fact that the entire system, absolutely the entire system, is one. I will answer my own question. This is a cancer, a parasite, a maggot on the body of human civilization. This tumor must be burned. You are simply unlucky that this tumor has grown on the body of your country and is hiding behind your national symbols. Ordinary people have nothing to do with this and are not to blame for anything. I don't know why this happened. I can only speculate without proof. I repeat, all of this is just speculation. It's history and it's irrelevant. But all the instruments of Gravemind we are dealing with now, the state, the law and this political system must be destroyed at any cost. No politician or official is attacking your constitution or laws, or even thinking about it. All your internal political debates and supposed contradictions between Democrats and Republicans are pure bullshit, just entertainment for you, something to watch after a hard day at work and somewhere and someone to vent your anger on. Into a dialogue with TV, into the void. The Constitution and laws have never prevented and do not prevent Epstein's clients and their bosses from doing what they do. For them, it's a cover. They will cling to until the very end, like a drowning man gulping down every inch of air. This is exactly what the political system of every Western country looks like, from South Korea to Moldova, from Canada to Chile, from Norway to South Africa, and Russia too, with one exception. Ukraine and Israel are almost on second and third place of the level of infiltration of Gravemind into the state apparatus. There is no need for a police in this system, because you are full of, in quotation marks, global leadership, security, freedom and democracy, patriotism and all other bullshit. Police are needed in Russia and other post-Soviet countries, because in our 1000-year history we have never supported our power, but also we have never been able to impede or interrupt it in any way. The only countries that would have a different system would be Middle Eastern states like Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan, where the source of power is not the people, but the monarch's heredity or religion. The Achilles heel of this vicious circle is the legitimacy of laws. As soon as you stop providing it, as soon as you all refuse to participate in any elections, as soon as the entire country takes to the streets, as the Russians just tried in 1993 and 1996, in 2011, 2012 and in March 2022, you will see who your government truly considers you. Only then you will understand all of this. The only way to break this system is to rise up as a country and kill every politician, official and special service employee. You are the only nation on the planet able of doing this. You have 400 million guns, but you don't do it. Why? Isn't Epstein enough for you? I am addressing to those who say that politicians or their children should be sent to a war trench for just one day, and they will all magically improve, and they will never be worse again. You are all either naive idiots or conscious propagandists. It's a complete bullshit. There are no moral people in politics at this level. They are all psychopaths who don't care about the feelings of others.
Конфликтный потенциал во всех точках мира фактически, он сейчас зашкаливает. Мировая экономика тоже находится в сложной ситуации. Как России удается не только удержаться на плаву, но и продолжать свой рост?
Знаете, когда у нас все спокойно, размеренно, стабильно, нам скучно. Застой. Хочется движухи. Как только начинается движуха, все свистит у виска. И секунды, и пули, к сожалению, и пули сейчас свистят. Так нам страшно. Ужас, ужас. Ну, ужас. Но не ужас, ужас, ужас. Все измеряется экономикой.
This is why psychopaths are so involved in politics. Because the law that naive voters feed with their votes and legitimate allows psychopaths to do and get everything they desire with absolutely impunity. There is a Russian proverb: the grave will correct a hunchback. People do not change. By the age of 18, a person's character is completely formed. They have a few more years to somehow transform themselves under certain very negative life circumstances. After 30, that's it. A person understands who they are and what they are. They will never again break their nature. They will not change their views. They even practically lose the ability to learn. Sure, they can master a new profession, a scientific field, or learn a foreign language, but they will spend 10 times more time and effort on it than a school child or a student. This is completely ineffective. And you are saying we need to bring these 70-80 years old scums in power to their senses with emotions that are inherently inaccessible to them. The decision to start a war is not a politician's decision. Understand that. They don't care about ordinary people. A politician's resources is the support of the grave mind. It doesn't decrease during war. The resource of the grave mind is access to control. This control is provided by legal and legitimate politicians. The system is closed. It has closed itself off. It sustains itself. Closed social system is unstable. It will inevitably exhaust its strength and collapse. People change, society changes, technologies changes. The old will inevitably be replaced by the new. When an animal becomes weaker than its environment or another animal, nature changes it. Those who create it. This is called evolution. The design of a social system is not an engineering blueprint that can be assembled even in 1,000 years and still function. A social system feeds on legitimacy. When a social system becomes obsolete, society destroys it, because society created it. This is called revolution. Don't confuse it with a coup d'etat. But it can also be the other way around, when the system destroys society. True wars, of course. In our case, it's inevitable, because society is weak and grave mind is uncontrollable and has weapons for mass destruction. Propaganda has permitted everything. People work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week and live on credit, having bought 400 million guns to punch holes in cardboard and feel safer from their neighbors, not the system. Police protects you or you are protecting yourself. You have chewed, swallowed total internet surveillance and the Epstein case silently. The institutions of checks and balances are dead and controlled by grave mind, not the other way around. This system will collapse through global war. This cannot be changed. Grave mind lacks the resources. It is morally incapable, programmed only for destruction. It is physically incapable. Restructuring the system would entail a loss of control, and without control the program cannot be done. I forgot something and couldn't remember it, but I will leave it as is. Russians have a proverb: the best is the enemy of the good. Because I can finish it in 15 minutes, and while you're thinking about it,